G'day, I'm Andrew. I'm the other half of Creepy Puppy. I'm a scaled athlete competing in the CrossFit Open this year, and this video we're going to watch is of 2019.2, which was a workout I was hoping to do really well in because it had some heavier weights, and that's one area that I've really been enjoying lately. I've been doing some really great PRs over the last 6 months, and I thought maybe if I can do some of the other things well, I might be able to get further than I otherwise would have even just 6 months ago. As it turned out, I did okay. I did actually pretty well. I shouldn't sort of belittle that, but when I first did it the other day, I was 3 reps short of making it into the 4th round, and I just felt maybe I could have been a little bit more efficient with some of my movements in the 2nd round in particular, to allow me to get that extra bit of time I just needed to do those 3 final reps and get into that 4th round, and see if I can hit that 185 pound barbell. So I decided to do it again, and so this is my redo. It's 36 hours after the first attempt, so any of you who are doing fitness, you'll know that's probably not optimal, and I'm going to give you a heads up, I actually didn't do as well as the first time, but that's okay. I felt a little down during the workout, but I'm fairly pragmatic with that stuff, and I bounced back, which is nice for me, and so I'm going to get started here, and we'll walk through the workout as I go. I'll sort of remind you, if you haven't seen what 19.2 is, what the actual movements are as we get started. So I'm gonna just play the video here. Okay. So what we've got here is a triplet of movements. You start with 25 knee raises, high knee raises, followed by 50 singles, and then followed by a bunch of squat cleans. And the first round, you get to do 15 reps of the squat cleans at 95 pounds. And so that's a nice, scarily deceptive intro weight to get started, 95 pounds. In the second round, if you get to the barbell, the reps go down by 2, so it'll be 13 reps, but the weight goes up by 20 pounds, so it's 115. That is, my 1 rep max for clean right now. All kinds of clean is 207, but I average usually on most of my days. My 1 rep is about 185, so 115 is going to be a good weight for me to try and do well on. But it also could be a weight that I fall apart on. If you make it to those 2 first rounds all the way through, so I hit those 13 reps of that second barbell within an 8-minute time cap, then what's going to happen is I'm going to actually have a chance to do some more work. And here I am on that first barbell. The first set of knee raises was really good, and the singles was actually faster than I did at the first round. What I did was I slowed the knee raises down to be a bit more consistent with my pacing, and then I was going to do singles a little faster. That worked out okay. I don't know if you saw the frustration on my face here. I actually had decided to do, as per Jacob Heppner's recommendation, to do singles the whole way through. That's what I really wanted to do, because I felt like that was going to give me the best chance of actually getting through this effectively. But the first few, every time I dropped the bar, it just bounced all over the place, and you can see it's loosened up the word escapes me, the holders and the clips, and unfortunately it just bounced around, and that just put me off a little mentally, and so I ended up stringing a couple together just to try and reset my brain. And you can see that look of pain on my face right now. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is just not, I'm not happy here that I was able to get, I was struggling with that 95 pound weight a little bit more than I would have liked. So while I'm finishing this off, and you can see I'm just like puzzled about why this is heavy, and yeah, my goodness, that bar bounced around a lot. I should have stopped, tightened up those plates so they wouldn't have tended to bounce around a bit more, and tried to do that. But the second thing, actually no, let me go back to the weights themselves. So in that third round, if I do make it to that third round, they add another 20 pounds to the weight. So going from 115 to 135. As I said before, what my 1 rep was. So I knew I could do 135, and I only have to do 11 of them. And so I knew that was totally possible if I had enough time. On Friday, when I did it the first time, the time that I had at the tie break at the end of the single unders, before I did those 11 attempts, I had about, I think it was like about 2.5 minutes left of my time to be able to get that done, and I was, as I said, 3 reps short. So I figured that if I could get an extra, even an extra 15-20 seconds, I could push myself and maybe get those 3. If I had, that would have been, the reward for that would have been even more work, and another 4 minutes of time, another 25 reps of high knee raises, another 50 single unders, and then I would have got to do 155 pound cleans, but only 9. I think that's where I would have come unstuck. I would have been able to hit at least 1 if I'd got to the bar, but I don't think I would have been able to finish those. So, but that was my goal, was in this particular version of the workout, I wanted to at least try and get those 3 final reps, but I didn't. And so that was a little disappointing. You can see here, this broke just right towards the end there in my single unders. This is the pace I did on Friday night. This is a little slower. The first round I was a lot faster. See, I was only like a couple short there of the 50. But it gassed me out, and this is actually not the knee raises or even the single unders. This was actually me feeling my quads were starting to cramp up, particularly my left. I have a weird mobility issue in my left knee, and so I always wear my knee bands, knee braces from Rare, and I was just really feeling tight and sore in both quads, but particularly on my left. And so this is actually, the struggle you see here wasn't the weight, it was actually that, and it had already started in the previous round of the cleans. It was a real struggle. I had a whole bunch of people around me. Here's Troy, one of our head coach here at Sasquatch Strength, coming over to check out why I'm struggling. That look on his face was that's pretty standard for him when I'm doing something that I probably should be able to do a bit better. But Ed was here. She's the other side of Creepy Puppy. My judge Ben was doing awesome, and a bunch of other people were here doing a gymnastics WOD, and they were just cheering me on, which was really great and fantastic. That's something that I love. And Troy, you can see he's wandered off. He's giving me his advice and he's wandering off. His advice was basically to try and reset. Every time I do the lift, let the bar down, take 2 steps back, breathe, and then take 2 steps forward. And that was actually very helpful for me. I think this is where he comes and tells me that when he sees I'm really struggling. And it helped because here it is here. Because what that allowed me to do was psychologically, mentally reset myself and say it's okay to put the barbell down. It's actually part of that whole process of, do singles, drop the bar, reset. But there you go. So I'm stepping away, stepping straight back in, grabbing the bar, and it let me have that break and that mental thought of, yep, that's what I'm going to do. And then I come back in, pick the bar up, and that was the hardest clean, that one there. I don't know why I struggled so much getting my arms under that one, but I was able to do the rest a little bit better than that. So it's really great to look back on your videos, and this is one of the things. I also don't like how I sort of target the bar there. We posted on Instagram a few snippets of my first attempt at 19.2, and so I was able to see, that's why I knew how fast I was going in the singles. I could see how I was I'm getting a lot better at my kipping in the knee raises and hollow rocks and all that kind of stuff. So I was actually fairly happy with that. But this also, the other day, it showed me that I needed to sort of lift a bit more with my legs, and Ed was telling me to do that a lot. But because my quads were so tight and sore, I couldn't. And that was actually the biggest struggle I had, was trying to make that happen. And so when I watched the video back from the first attempt, I was like, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to pull a little higher, get a little under it, bit more. This is me mentally giving up, but not giving up, which is something that I do occasionally. I don't do this often, because as I said earlier, I'm fairly pragmatic, and I'm like, hey, if I don't do well at a workout, I don't do well at a workout normally. But because of this one, I really wanted to do well, and I wanted to try and just get those 3 final reps in. And I just realized what my time was at this point. I knew that I wasn't going to quite make that. And I was like, do I just give up? And then I was like, no, hang on. That's just not what I do. I'm going to just keep going through. It's got to be only a couple minutes left. I might as well just get those done. I do have to admit, I had that thought when I was doing the second round of cleans, and I was having so much of a struggle, and I wanted to give up there. That I was like, oh, maybe if I slow this down enough and I don't quite finish all 13 reps in the time, then my time will be over at 8 minutes and I can be done. But again, I just couldn't let myself do that. I had to at least put the work in for the 8 minutes, and lo and behold, I managed to actually make it happen. And so, yay, more work. And so here I am taking those breaths. Again, these breaths aren't because I struggle with the knee raises. It was because just the work and the effort I was putting into the cleans was actually just so hard. And that's where I really sort of came unstuck with this one. You'll see here, I intentionally broke there. I made that a commitment to myself that if in the 3rd round and maybe 4th round, I was going to break up my singles just to get a bit more breath, so that when I hit the bar, that I had a bit more relaxed heart rate. It worked okay, because there I am glancing over the time. Because even though this attempt, I was actually significantly slower in that second round. I was 40 to 50 seconds slower in that second round in my cleans, not just in the other parts. That amount of time, psychologically, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to get anywhere near even what I got the other day, let alone finish this round. I wore my belt the other day as well. As Jacob said in his video, I don't know if that's a psychological thing or whether it actually really does help. For me, I feel it does help, because it's giving me a bit more stability in my lower back, particularly which was feeling a little weak, because I think it was carrying my quads in the first 2 rounds. So I was happy to give it that relief here in this round. So what I was going to say was, you'll see here, I managed to get, I think I got 6 done instead of 8. So I was shooting for the 11. There was no way I could do that in the reduced time that I had available for this weight. But because of the techniques, because of the advice people were giving me, Ed saying lift with your legs, Troy saying give it a rest, there I am, done. That was about a second and a half left on the timer. There was no way I was going to get that bar up to my shoulders before that time, so I just said that was it, I'm done. But I got 6 done in a significantly less amount of time, and that I feel really good about that. I definitely want to do this workout again, in a few months, maybe, or maybe 6 months. There are certain workouts that are in the CrossFit Open that I feel are good benchmarks for me, and I feel that there's probably that kind of workout for everyone. That there's 5 open workouts every year, and there's always going to be that one I feel that you can say, this is my benchmark, that I can test every 6 months or every year to see how I'm progressing, and just sort of reassure yourself that you are actually getting stronger or fitter or better at a particular movement. And for me, I feel this one's going to be one of those. I look forward to the day that I can do toes to bar. My double unders are coming along. They're still really, really shaky. There's no way I could do 50 in that amount of time, but I'm starting to string a couple together here and there, and I feel that maybe in 6 months I can do those. But for me, I always like to go back and do the benchmark the way I did it originally, and so this will always be one that I will do as a scaled workout with the knee raises and the singles, so that I can really focus on, am I getting better? And you can see here, I don't feel that it's necessarily, am I going to get better at, am I going to get stronger? I feel that eventually I'm going to need to do that if I want to hit those two last barbells. I mentioned that the fourth round it would be 155. The fifth round, if I'd even made it to that round, would have been 185, so a 30-pound jump. Again, that's kind of around my typical 1 rep right now. And so that would have been a real struggle if I'd ever managed to make it there, and 155 would have been tough too. Either way, I will do this again, and hopefully get better and get further and get those 3 last reps. One of the other workouts I love doing is the one that I think is my first ever open workout, with all those dumbbells and box jump overs, and I've never completed it. I've tried it 3 times now, and I've never actually managed to get it within the time cap. My last attempt was only a couple months ago, and I actually did worse than previous attempts. And so I just got to look at that realistically and say, why was that? Was it a bad day? Was I not ready? And maybe it was a bit of an injury. Maybe it was just, I hadn't eaten right. It could have been all kinds of factors, but I still felt good about doing what I'd done. Because I want to keep track of those types of things. It's easy to say, hey, I PR'd a weightlifting thing, or I did 10 double unders in a minute with lots of trips, but doing an overall workout benchmark, I think, is one of those things. That's why I like trying to do the hero WODs as well. Not only does it sort of pay tribute to that particular hero, but it also allows you to test against yourself and your progress. Same with the goal workouts. And so I just really love doing those types of things, because for me, CrossFit isn't really a competitive sport. I'm never going to be, one of those games athletes, or even someone who does very well at a local competition. I will always try and do local comps, but I'm never expecting to go anywhere near the podium. But for me, it's me competing with myself. Can I do better? Can I do stronger? Can I do faster? And that's my goal there. And so for this workout, I didn't do as well as I did the other day, but maybe 36 hours wasn't enough recovery time. It was what I could do. I've got a lot of work going on right now, and I couldn't do my first attempt until Friday night, and our gym is only open on Sunday in the morning, so that was the time that I could actually do that. And I knew that tomorrow my workload would probably preclude me from getting a second attempt in tomorrow. So today was the day, and it didn't do as well, but that's okay. So final thoughts on the CrossFit Open 19.2 attempt 2, is that I'm really proud of myself for going again. I don't feel like it was wasted effort. It was a great workout. It really pushed me. Had some good cardio in there, and some good reps of a stronger barbell for me, and I'm looking forward to what 19.3 throws at me. But I hope that this gave you some encouragement as well, and look forward to seeing what other people can do. Cheers, bye.
How did that go?
It sucked.
That was rough, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Oh man.
Good job.
Thanks. My quads are just on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.